Australia. The name conjures images of vibrant cities, iconic wildlife, and sun-drenched beaches. But there's another side to Australia, often overlooked. It's vast, silent, and seemingly empty. This is the Australia of the Outback, where nature reigns supreme. Australia boasts a landmass almost as large as the United States, yet its population is dwarfed in comparison. Imagine driving for hours, even days, and encountering only a handful of tiny towns. This is the reality of Australia's vast interior. Join me as we journey into the heart of this enigmatic continent. Let's explore the factors that have shaped Australia's unique landscape and uncover the secrets behind its enduring emptiness. The Australian Outback is not for the faint of heart. It's a land of extremes, where the climate can be as unforgiving as the terrain itself. In summer, the mercury can soar well above 100 degrees Fahrenheit, turning the outback into a furnace. Imagine stepping out your front door into an oven. The air is thick and heavy, making even the simplest tasks a challenge. The ground, baked hard by the sun, radiates heat upwards, intensifying the scorching temperatures. But the outback's climate isn't just about searing heat. As the sun dips below the horizon, the heat dissipates rapidly, leaving the desert to cool under a blanket of stars. Nighttime temperatures can plummet, sometimes dropping below freezing. This extreme variation in temperature makes life in the outback a constant battle against the elements. The outback is a land of immense distances. Imagine driving for hours, the landscape unchanging, the only sound the hum of your engine. Roads are few and far between, often little more than dirt tracks that snake their way across the landscape. Distances are measured in hundreds of kilometers, and towns are small and far apart. This isolation brings unique challenges. Access to essential services like healthcare and education can be limited. Supplies often have to be transported over long distances, making them more expensive and harder to come by. But for many who live in the outback, the isolation fosters a spirit of self-reliance and resilience. It's a reminder that life in the outback is about more than just surviving, it's about thriving in the face of adversity. In the heart of Australia, water is more than just a necessity, it's a precious commodity. The outback is one of the driest inhabited continents on Earth, receiving less than 10 inches of rainfall in many areas. This scarcity of water has a profound impact on life in the outback. Rivers and lakes are often dry for months on end, leaving behind parched riverbeds and salt pans. Vegetation is sparse, adapted to survive on minimal moisture. The lack of water limits human settlement and agriculture. Without a consistent water supply, it's difficult to grow crops or raise livestock. Indigenous Australians have lived in this arid environment for tens of thousands of years, developing ingenious techniques for finding and conserving water. Their knowledge and practices offer valuable lessons for living sustainably in this fragile ecosystem. Section 5: Indigenous Legacy Guardians of the Land. Long before European settlers arrived, Indigenous Australians called this land home. For tens of thousands of years they have lived in harmony with the outback, developing a deep understanding of its rhythms. Their ancient songlines map the land, recounting its creation stories and guiding travelers. Their rock art offers glimpses into their rich cultural heritage. Today, Indigenous Australians continue to play a vital role in the outback. They are the traditional owners of vast lands, and their connection remains strong. Section 6: A Nation of Parks, Preserving Nature's Bounty. Australia values its natural heritage. The government has established an extensive network of national parks and conservation areas. These areas cover diverse environments from rainforests to deserts. In the outback, parks conserve biodiversity and fragile ecosystems. They provide sanctuary for unique plant and animal life. From the red kangaroo to the bilby, these parks are a haven. Australia prioritizes the long-term health of its environment. The outback's emptiness is a treasure to be cherished and protected. Section 7: Coastal Living, the Magnetic Pull of the Sea. While the outback sprawls across much of Australia's interior, the vast majority of the population hugs the coastline. Australia's major cities, Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, are all coastal cities. They offer a temperate climate, stunning beaches, and a lifestyle that revolves around the ocean. This coastal concentration is driven by a number of factors. Historically, coastal settlements provided easier access to trade and transportation. The temperate climate and fertile soils along the coast made it more suitable for agriculture and urban development. This pattern of settlement has resulted in a stark contrast between the densely populated coastal fringe and the sparsely inhabited interior. While the coast thrives with economic activity and urban development, the outback remains a place of vast distances and limited infrastructure. Section 8. Farming the outback, a delicate balance. The outback is often perceived as a barren and unforgiving land, unsuitable for agriculture. While it's true that the arid conditions and unpredictable rainfall pose significant challenges, the outback is not entirely devoid of agricultural activity. Vast swaths of the outback are used for grazing livestock, particularly cattle and sheep. These stations are often located in remote areas, relying on boreholes and dams to provide water for their livestock. But farming in the outback is a delicate balancing act. The fragile ecosystem is easily disrupted by overgrazing, and prolonged droughts can devastate livestock populations. Sustainable farming practices are essential for ensuring the long-term viability of agriculture in the outback. The future of outback farming depends on striking a balance between economic productivity and environmental sustainability. Section 9. A vast wilderness, empty, yet full of promise. The Australian Outback, a land of stark beauty, of immense distances, and enduring silence. Its emptiness, far from being a void, is a testament to the power of nature, a reminder of the delicate balance that sustains life in this harsh and unforgiving environment. We've journeyed through scorching deserts and rugged mountain ranges, explored ancient cultures, and encountered unique wildlife. But the outback's emptiness is not a sign of failure or neglect. It's an opportunity to conserve vast tracts of wilderness, to protect biodiversity, and to learn from the traditional custodians of this land. The Australian outback may be sparsely populated, but it's far from empty. It's a land of endless possibilities, a place where adventure awaits those willing to embrace its challenges and marvel at its wonders.